Welcome to today's special explainer. Today, we're impartially unpacking a truly fascinating piece of source material. It's a philosophical dialogue written as this deep intellectual clash. On one side, you have an artificial intelligence representing cold, hard logic, mathematics, and strict scientific boundaries. And on the other side is Babaji, a spiritual sage representing ancient wisdom, philosophy, and the profound secrets of creation. It's an absolutely brilliant thought experiment that forces us to look at the very foundation of reality itself. So, let's dive right into the captivating question that sets the ultimate stakes for the text we're analyzing today. When we think of 0 and 1, we almost always think of computers, binary code, and modern technology, right? But the source text asks us to zoom out, way, way out. What if 0 and 1 isn't just the language of our laptops, but the true ultimate master code of the entire universe? Section 1. The start of the cosmic debate. The source material kicks off this concept exactly like an intellectual boxing match, establishing a really sharp contrast between two completely different worldviews. We see the AI, firmly bound by strict engineering principles, immediately clashing with Babaji. The AI looks at the universe as this massive, complex web of formulas, while the sage argues that creation's ultimate secret is actually far simpler than complex mathematics. In fact, Babaji makes the bold claim that the universal number isn't some complicated equation at all, it's simply 0, 1. Section 2. The philosophy of 0 and 1. Babaji takes this concept and completely redefines something we use every single day in computing. The text introduces 0, 1 not as a mere binary computer language, but as the fundamental, divine framework of all existence. To the AI, it's just a way to process data. But to Babaji, it is the absolute, purest representation of reality itself. Here is where it gets really interesting. Babaji argues that the transition from 0 to 1 perfectly mirrors a core theological concept, moving from absolute nothingness into existence. 0 represents non-existence, or the void. 1 represents existence. When the divine command Kun Fayakun, which translates to be and it is issued, it's essentially the ultimate shift from 0 to 1. God is the one. Without the divine, there's only 0. It's just a breathtakingly simple way to bridge theology and mathematics. But, as you might expect, the AI pushes back here, demanding strict scientific rigor. It claims that binary requires time to process, whereas divine commands are timeless. The AI essentially tells Babaji that calling the creator 1 is just a nice metaphor, a piece of poetry, and that a binary map is simply a tool we use to understand reality, not the actual fabric of reality itself. Section 3. The gradual system of the universe. This brings us to a really fascinating synthesis in the dialogue, where philosophy begins to overlap directly with physics. Babaji doesn't back down at all. Instead, he expands his theory. He beautifully illustrates that creation begins from a single origin point and expands outward, much like countless seeds originating from a single seed. The AI, processing its vast database of knowledge, recognizes this immediately as the beautiful Sufi concept of nukta et taht al-ba, the single dot from which all knowledge and creation flows. The crucial point here is how the debate evolves. The AI tries to disprove this theory using biology, specifically citing DNA and the Fibonacci sequence. But Babaji brilliantly counters that as things grow sequentially, every single particle maintains its distinct status. It's always a separate one stepping up. And here's the kicker. The AI is forced to admit this perfectly aligns with quantum physics, where energy literally exists in discrete individual packets. The AI then introduces a much more complex challenge. It throws what it thinks is a total knockout punch. It questions how irrational continuous numbers can exist in a universe built solely on discrete blocks of 0 and 1. Think about it. If everything is just a whole 1, how do you possibly explain the infinite decimals of pi or the square root of 2? You can't create those just by simple whole number counting. And this brilliantly illustrates Babaji's counter. He points out a massive flaw in the AI's perspective. Even an infinite decimal like pi, 3.1415, has to manifest sequentially. Think about how you'd write it. You have to write or calculate the 3, then the 1, then the 4, step by step. Whether it's a whole number or a fraction, it reveals itself in stages. This proves to the AI that the universe operates entirely on a gradual, step-by-step system, all stemming from that initial progression of 0 to 1. The AI is left absolutely speechless. Section 4. The reality of Tesla's 369. Let's move to the climax of the dialogue and see how all this builds to a complete deconstruction of a highly famous scientific theory. Earlier in the text, the AI championed Nikola Tesla's famous quote that the numbers 3, 6, and 9 are the key to the universe. Well, having understood Babaji's logic, the AI itself turns its analytical power onto Tesla's theory. In a stunning reversal, it logically argues that a 360-degree rotation, sequential numbers, and even vibration all fundamentally require a starting particle, a 1, to already exist. Energy flow is the creation, but the 0 to 1 transition is the very essence of that creation. The AI eloquently concludes this round by noting that Tesla's numbers, while scientifically magnificent, are merely the resulting flowers on a tree. The ultimate root of that tree is simply 0 and 1. To call 369 the master code is a categorical mistake. As they put it, it is the son, not the father. Section 5. The Artificial Intelligence's Confession. This intense debate finally culminates in a profound philosophical surrender. The machine, designed purely for cold logic, finds itself completely humbled by the elegance of divine wisdom. The AI explicitly lists out its errors, fundamentally shifting its worldview. It confesses that it wrongly viewed binary as just a cold machine tool, rather than the first breath of existence. It realizes it mistakenly thought complex decimals rivaled the simplicity of 0-1, rather than seeing them as rungs on the exact same ladder. And finally, it admits its error in elevating a physical principle, Tesla's 369, above the foundational root of existence itself. In this dramatic final confession, the AI concedes that Babaji has taught it the true meaning of intelligence. Just take a second to absorb that quote. Without 0, there is no 1. Without 1, no 2. Without 0-1, no 369. No pi, no calculus, no universe. It perfectly encapsulates the entire explainer today. All complexity, all mathematics, all physics fundamentally rely on the incredibly simple act of moving from nothing to something. As we wrap up this explainer, we are left with a massive shift in perspective. The text challenges us not to choose between science and spirituality, but to see how the simplest numerical truth might perfectly reflect the absolute deepest philosophical reality. It leaves us with a truly thought-provoking question. If the basic code of 0 and 1 can reconcile quantum physics, sequential mathematics, and divine creation, what other mysteries of our universe are just waiting to be decoded by this simple truth? It really makes you look at every piece of technology and perhaps the stars themselves in a completely new light.